everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm your host Miss KK and this is The Wave. It is your weekly show that looks at topics related to personal, family and business finances, and our hope is that by the time we get to the end of this series you are really better equipped to make sound financial decisions. If you are new here, thank you so much for stopping by. We really love having you on board. Please consider subscribing, and if you're already a returning subscriber, an awesome appreciation to you guys for always watching the videos, sharing the videos with your friends, interacting in the comment section as well as interacting on our social media platform, especially Instagram, where we normally do our Q&A Thursday, where we get to hear from you guys as listeners, as followers, as friends. What are some of the common financial challenges that you are experiencing? Then I get to share that back anonymously with the entire audience, and then we get to learn from each other. So as promised, I was going to do a review on Tinder Swindler. It's a documentary that's currently showing on Netflix. I was really disappointed in how it ended because I thought the guy deserved to go for jail. To jail for, I don't know, the longest of time. He stayed in jail for like 3 or 4 months or 6 months, I don't recall, and then he was basically back on Tinder again. And why I actually wanted to do a review of this is because when you are watching the video, you may at some point think, will I really have done that if I was in that situation? Or you may think that these are actually problems for people that have money, or it's problem for people that are stupid. But in fact, when I start thinking about how these girls were manipulated into actually ending up giving this monies and taking out loans for this guy, I realized it's something that can easily happen to me and you. So Friday, Thursday, I run Q&A on Instagram where I get to ask the listeners to put in their views on a particular topic. And yesterday I asked, what's the worst financial mistakes that has taught you a lot? And a lot of people came forth with different with different financial mistakes, ranging from taking loans out, buying big houses, renting out of their budget, living above their means, taking tamba for the people that are using MTC, and so many things. And the one thing that actually came up is the one girl said this guy convinced her that she must give him money so that he can buy a bed for his mother. And the girl was meant to take out the bed on account, but because she has the cash, she offered the cash anyways, and she's been struggling to get her money back since then. And then she ended the relationship just because she was tired of begging. That is just one of many stories that are untold, that are unshared, that a lot of Namibians are sitting with. So for those that haven't watched Tinder Swindler, it's a guy that is actually making a living out of swindling girls, or robbing girls of their money, but not really robbing in the sense. It's like he manipulates you into helping him, and then because you are so emotionally connected to this person, you go out of your way to make it happen. But the way he does it is so smart, such that you won't notice. So when he gets in a relationship with a girl, he normally meets these girls on Tinder. It's a dating site. And he would first build a relationship and show you all the love. He portrays himself as a rich businessman, but the money that he's actually spending on you to create a safe space for you, to create the fact that he's actually living this life, he's actually taking it from another girl. So for example, he has a girl that he's telling that his enemies are after him, his cards are blocked for security reason, he can't use his card because it's going to be traced. If you can please wire him money. And at some stage you do move from wiring electronic to cash, and whilst you are actually sacrificing doing all of that, he's using that money to the next victim. So trying to fly these girls to expensive destination, taking these girls out, paying for the entire clubs, drinks, etc. So he basically just does that in a cycle, and it's so difficult for the girls to detect it because he doesn't do it just right away. He first build respect, he first build trust, he first build this relationship where you actually feel like you owe it to this person to give it your all. In the one instance, the girl actually was just a friend, wasn't involved romantically, so they were just a friend, but they went on a 10-day trip and he was basically paying for anything. So when it was time for this girl now to actually be asked for help by him, she felt like this guy actually paid for that trip. He didn't ask anything from me. The least I can do is actually bail him out. So this is how the story was going, and I actually just realized that a lot of us are emotionally being blackmailed by people that are that we are in relationship or that we are connected to, and sometimes we are going out of our way to actually bail these people out. So the lessons that are coming out of the Tinder Swindler, if you haven't watched it, please go watch it on Netflix. But if you're not really interested, the lessons that are coming from that is you need to learn to create money rules in your relationship. This is actually a question I also ran around Valentine, where I asked people, what are your money breakers in a relationship? We make money such a very sensitive topic, such that we are so, open to sleeping with these people, to discussing our future plans, to do this, but the only subject we don't want to address is money. So you need to be able to understand what are your money principles when it comes to relationship. Do you give money in relationship? And if you are giving money, on what grounds are you giving money? Number two, if you are going to be helping someone money, are you going to give your own money, or are you going to take out a loan on behalf of someone, or are you going to be co-signing with someone? And the one thing that I've actually realized a lot of these girls did is they gave access to their credit cards to this guy in order for him to be able to fund this. And it even went as far as the girl is actually getting a fake employment contract from this guy, so that he can take the fake employment contract to the bank, so that the bank can up her credit limit, so that the guy can be able to spend on the higher credit limit. So when it starts getting into that area, you need to ask yourself, why would someone create a fake employment contract for you? So you need to be able to set those ground rules as to what you can tolerate in your relationship with regards to money, what you do on behalf of other people, and please avoid sharing credit card details, because the bank wouldn't come for the swindler, the bank wouldn't come for the guy that you took out the overdraft for. The bank will come to you. And in the end, these girls were left to clear off their debt. They were not rescued from any of them. They did not get debt forgiveness. Maybe they might get debt forgiveness at some stage, but as the documentary ended, they were left to do their own. So what am I exactly trying to say? What I'm exactly trying to say in this is that you need to be woke when it comes to relationship, and learn to identify toxic money trait in relationship. Is a guy always asking you for money? Is a lady always asking you for money? And what are they going to be using this money for? For example, right, if you are not like my friend that said that the guy asked for money in order for him to be able to buy his mother's a bed on an account. What is stopping him himself to go to Nectus and say, hi guys, I'm actually in need of my mother is in need of a bed, can I please take an account? What is stopping him from doing that? Is he perhaps credit listed, blacklisted on ITC, such that he can't access a credit history? And if so, interrogate and discuss with the guy what led him to being blacklisted in the first place. You also are going to be potentially building a future with this person. You would want to understand what is their credit history, because ultimately what they have in their history is likely to filter into in their future, and you are likely to bear the consequences of that, especially if you don't address some of this upfront. So that is the one thing that I actually want to drive home in this message. And lastly, we are actually wrapping up because it's just a quick review. The last one is, please avoid co-signing, because that relationship is going to end and you're going to be left with that debt. And because you are also not married, that when you break up, there is no legal implication from that guy or that girl coming to take a portion of that debt, unless you are willing to take them to court. But obviously, even at court, the legal fees are going to be so expensive, so in the end you might actually end up losing. My one friend also actually commented on the same thing and said she nearly took out, or she made the mistake of taking out a loan with a boyfriend, and it will end in tears. Most of the time it will end in tears, because relationship that also involves sacrifices to that extent are likely to wear you out at some stage, and you might actually start thinking, is it really worth it? So guys, I'm really mainly speaking it from a context of a lady's perspective, simply because I am using Tinder Swindler as a basis for this discussion. And in that documentary, the guy was swindling girls, but the opposite could also be true. You could have these girls that are just after your money, that are just sucking out from you, that are just getting you into trouble, and it's up to you to do a self-introspection and say to yourself, is this relationship serving me emotionally, physically, and financially? And if it's draining you financially, it's time for you to actually reflect back. Yes. So for those that haven't really followed me on Instagram, please follow me on Instagram and go and check out my highlight that says Q&A Thursday. You would be able to follow those financial mistakes. And the one thing that I would really just give hint towards the end here is, I would like to do a video on social security payment. A lot of people actually came up to say that social security normally puts them in trouble, and the one girl went as far as she had to take out a loan and she was blacklisted because social security paid her late. So that is one of the videos that we are going to be addressing in future, stemming from that. So yeah, so that is all I wanted to say, and thank you so much. Do check out the documentary, it is really worth your time. Very quick video, very, you know, brief and not really structured, but that is really all I had from that, and it is goodbye.